Good morning, YouTubulous. EXO coming at you here with episode 8 of the big wall build. Just had myself a nice little bagel with cream cheese, garden vegetable style, so I'd say I'm just about prepared to start another long day of work. And as you can see, I got a little bit ahead of myself this morning. Went ahead and blacked out one of these windows, did the same exact thing that I did in Frankenstein, since it's not, it's not really a highlight feature of the build. Just went the cheap route, 98-cent cans of spray paint, and just did it. And look at it, it's not looking bad at all. In fact, I took the trim off to make it a little bit more closer into the glass, and she's looking nice. Check it out. I mean, hell, you can't really complain about that. I just have a little bit more touch up to do towards the top, where it's a little bit more oily from my fingers. So we got the sawhorses out today. We're gonna be tackling the sides, making that double layer, but I figured we could start out with where we left off. You remember that little tiny gap that was created from our original roundover on the baffles? Well, when we made it twice as thick, there was just the tiniest little bit of a gap created. Tiny, tiny, tiny. In fact, it's so small that we can go ahead back here to the trunk and use the body filler. We don't really need any strength with any fiberglass. In fact, it's too small to even add that fiberglass. So this shit will do just the trick. We're gonna take our putty knife and just smear it in there. In fact, we're probably gonna take a little bit of that burned look away. Even though I did some sanding, it's just gonna get right in here close, right there, and just fill that up, even though the screw is going to be mounted even way down below it. But it's just going to make it look nice, for me. I'm a kind of not really a perfectionist, but I'd like at least this part to look good, hell. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Mix up a batch on a spare piece of wood, clear out a space, oh dear God, and then I'll definitely have to clean this rock wall, that's for sure. All right, let's roll it out, fellas. First layer of fill is successfully in on the baffle there. You can see we covered it up nice and good. She still obviously needs a nice sanding, but you can kind of get the idea of it now. We're just covering up that thing a little bit. Probably do one more little coat, but in the meantime, while this thing dries, I figured I can go ahead and do the first coat of the other side of the glass. Might as well just set the tripod up and just show you guys what I'm doing. I'm just doing a really light coat and several of them, but I didn't really want to do it on film because everybody says you gotta do plasti dip or you gotta do a tint. But really, this is like the least, quite literally the least featured part of the build. In fact, you want it to be very inconspicuous, so it really doesn't matter what you use to black it out as long as it looks black from the other side, you know what I'm saying? So that's really why I didn't want to film it, but I guess I will. So I'll go ahead and chuck that up. I'm literally just doing light coats of spray paint. Same thing I did in Frankenstein on every single window.
Let the media hype this. You know who we got here.
Now this is the most tempting part right here. You're gonna wanna keep painting, even though it looks splotchy. Some places, don't do it. Just let it dry and then do it again. This is that cheap 98-cent shit I'm not splurging at all, but it'll get the job done and it'll look great in the end. That's all that matters. Alright, there's a second coat right there, slowly but surely. Now you can definitely see what I mean by some places a little more greasy than others and it doesn't stick. I'm gonna leave that until later, and I might throw some oil base on there with a brush just to get it, you know, firm down there for sure.
Let the media hype this. You know what we got here?
Just like that, guys, and she's looking mint. And surprisingly, there was like barely any overspray. I was pretty surprised by that. Even though it's pretty cheap stuff, it definitely gets on just the project, so I didn't have to worry about spraying on my windows. But I still put this up just in case any was flying up and would have possibly float over or something. But I'm happy with it. Let's back up a little bit. You can get both of them in view pretty much. Check it out. Definitely 100% blacked out. You're not going to see any of that wood, screws, but either way, I'm going to be covering this thing with carpet. So if the door does open, it's not going to look, you know, hellaciously bad. That's where we're at right now. We can pretty much go back into the baffles now that everything's dry. Check it out. We're just going to give her a quick sand and then do one more quick layer.
Let the media hype this. You know what we got here? Word up.
Heck yeah, guys, check it out. She's coming together real good. I just imagine a nice little sanding applied to this thing. It's gonna come friggin' nice and flush. Gonna look like all one piece except for the little splotches that didn't really obviously need the filler. Just a little bit of burn mark still there, but hell. Subwoofer's gonna be in there. This was just for my own peace of mind because I wanted it to be nice and flush. Let's back up a little bit. Check out those baffles. So right now, I think, pretty sure we're gonna do something here. I just need to figure out if I'm gonna cover the whole plane with a piece of wood, or do strips of wood, or do 2x4s. There's 3 of those options. I'll show you a little closer here. Once we close that door, it gets very tight in there, but she closes nice and flush. So what are we gonna do? I think I may choose the 13 ply. Just to, let's knock on it right now. We'll do a before and after. I'll use this same clip here. Let's knock on it. See, it sounds like there's a little bit of echo in there. We're gonna try to dampen, deaden, and just totally friggin' make that rock solid right there. So let's transition into that. Alright, we got the first one down, laced her up with lots and lots of screws, because this is just going to act as a little bit of a brace. You're probably wondering what the hell this tape is here for. Some of the PL was just squeezing out a little bit, so I wanted to prevent it, so I stuck it to both sides of the wood and pressed it right down the center, so it hasn't been pushing out anymore, and it hasn't popped the tape out either. I've been keeping an eye on it. I don't have enough screws to do the other side. A little bit kind of bummed about that. I can't do this side. Unless I have 1.5 inch screws somewhere around here and 2 inch screws, but I don't want to have to go on the other side of the box and trim them out later. It's kind of a pain in the butt. I'm gonna go ahead and switch directions into double layering this little tiny piece right here. Even though that may be just a little bit of overkill because it's so small, the flex factor is gonna be really low with that particular piece, but we're gonna go ahead and fill up this tiny little 3/4 of an inch gap. I'll show you what I'm gonna do real quick. we have to do it in 2 steps because it's too big to fit through this side and much too big to fit through this side. So we cut her down right into 2 different pieces, and we just did some angles. I'll show you what I mean. We have to do this one first because it goes down, it's gonna be the last one on the bottom piece. So it has to actually go in first. We'll wedge it in just like this. I'm just gonna mock it up really roughly right now. So it'll be flat like that. And then this one's gonna come in and kind of match it. It's gonna fit in kind of like this and just slip right in. I'm gonna screw it in from the inside of the box, but here we go. It'll push in just like that, and we'll screw it in from the other side, and then she'll be nice and thick on that side, and then we'll even take a little bit of foam and then spray some foam up into here, because you can see that is just, she is built right into the car. Check how tight that is. Oh yeah, she is gonna be tight, that's for damn sure. Fellas, just picking up the workplace here. I am tuckered out, and we've done quite a lot today, but we ran out of screws, so we can't get as much as we'd like to done with right over here. But we did finish this side, and it's looking nice and snug. Hopefully it looks, you can pretty much get the gist of it on camera, but hopefully you'll be able to see this at a show or something. But it is built so closely into the vehicle, and I'm really happy with the construction. She is just strong as a rock. I know I've probably said that over and over again, but yeah, I'm just really happy. We're gonna go down to Home Depot, get some screws. Oh, and in the other video, I didn't say 22-inch screws. I said 22-inch screws. So like they're 2-inch screws and there's 20 of them. That's what I meant to say on the baffle here. So I need to get more 1-inch screws for the 3/4 to 3/4 stuff. So that little countersink makes it bite in nice and well. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it quits for today. I'll come at you tomorrow morning, but the paint's gonna dry up for tonight. She's looking real good on the other side. We got a little bit of dust here. I'm pretty dusty as well, but check it out. She's looking spiffy. I'm loving it. So, I'm gonna go to the grocery store. Oh God, I'm dropping stuff everywhere. And go to Home Depot, call it quits for today, guys. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hee hee.